Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of F&B Talks by the Restaurant Times. As some of you would know, F&B Talks is a knowledge series by the Restaurant Times. Today we have a very special guest with us. His name is Mr. Vishal Jalani. He is the Managing Director and CEO at Brown Sugar Bakers and Cafe, the renowned bakery chain and restaurants from Jaipur. We are very excited to have you on board today, and we would love to get as many insights from you as possible.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction.
So, my first question to you, Vishal, is that it's been more than 11 years since Brown Sugar
Mhm.
started. So, could you tell me how your journey started as a restaurateur and how you ended up becoming a part of the F&B industry?
Yes. This is one question which obviously everybody ask and want to know. I'll be very honest. We kind of started 11 years back, but I started working almost 10 years before that also. So I belong to film industry wherein we have a family legacy, and I'm the fourth generation in the same kind of business, which is the film in distribution and exhibition. So my grandfather had been a producer, also film producer. He produced some regional films, and we are into exhibition. So I also carried out that work only. But there was this something inside me that I wanted to do something in food only. So I switched the gears and I convinced my father and my family to switch myself to food industry. So because very honestly speaking to you, film industry is a very comfortable kind of a work. You get up late, you sleep early, or you just party more. It's more of a glamorous work. And if we talk about the food industry, it's more of a laborious work, and it takes a lot of effort from you. It's quite taxing, very honestly speaking. So my father told me that it's not an easy work. So how it happened that I wanted to start with a franchisee of a very reputed bakery. So we reached out to that guy. He upfrontly rejected me that it's not a kid's job and you cannot do it on your own. I have a good experience. So I took it little personal. And I said him that I'll make something which is much better than you. And there's one tagline which I always use. That is, tell me I can't and I'll embarrass you. So I used the same to him also. So from that day, we started our journey. I formed a team of two, three more like-minded people who can be just part of our this thing. So we started it way back in 2011. It all started like this with one outlet. I have no experience in food industry, but luckily, with the passage of time, we learned a lot of things and we realized that there is a huge vacuum because we have a presence in Jaipur city, Rajasthan. So people were not at all encashing this opportunity that they could be regional players and alag region where they could have their presence. So now sitting on 2021, we have got 12 stores operational of brown sugar in Jaipur, one in Jodhpur, and close to 5 stores are in production, which will be up by March 2022. So we'll have a strong presence in Jaipur and Rajasthan. So this is the journey till now and how it all started.
All right. I think, you were telling me that you are introducing a lot of fusion items such as a pan truffle we were discussing the other day. So, I mean, what goes behind and who is the mind behind these new items that you keep coming up with?
So very honestly speaking, see, we do a lot of innovation because we have a team which is dedicated team towards R&D. Uh, they are continuously on it. Every month they have to introduce. We've divided our business into two, three things. First is food, beverages, bakery, and the pastry part. So we do innovation in all the extremes and verticals. So, जैसे we are doing a lot of fusion about food. I'll be very honest. We introduce things like pav bhaji fondue, dal makhni fondue with blue cheese naan. We introduce things like nimbu achari quesadilla, a Burmese khaswe being served with a kachori. So the same way we introduce besan laddu with truffle inside. We introduce salted caramel mishri mawa just to encash the season, which is around Diwali season. So we're doing all crazy things like this, and I'll be very honest, people of Jaipur who trust us and they buy all things in quite a bulk. So this is the credit goes to the team, obviously. I can just tell them what is to be done, but it is them who obviously do it and then they make a wonderful product out of it.
Great. And how has been the audience response to these kind of new things?
very honestly speaking to Rhea, all the newspapers cover us almost every time whenever we make something new, because they know that anything new have to be in Jaipur comes through brown sugar only.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Thanks, sir.
That's great. So, I mean, we just have come out of a pandemic mostly. So,
Yes.
how was the impact on your business, and what strategies did you adopt to, get through it?
Very honestly speaking, pandemic obviously was a very tough time for F&B industry. I would not uh, say no for that, but to be very honest, we did things which were pending since almost 2 3 years. We did our SOP working, we did our future benchmarking for 5 years for our company. We ventured into a lot of new concepts like cloud kitchens and all. So we're coming up with something new for cloud kitchen also. So pandemic rather helped us out to plan our future activities for coming 5 or 10 years also. So I would not say it was 100% bad for us. And yes, during pandemic, we did a lot of experiments, which also people liked. And it was a decent time for us, very honestly speaking. We worked on our gray areas, and it was not so bad for us as it was bad for the industry, because we obviously have chain outlets, so people also believed in us, and now they're trusting the brand, so they take a lot of products from us only.
Okay, I think whenever we speak to restaurateurs, most of them say that the pandemic was tough, but we got time to look at our SOPs and we got a lot of time to plan. So I think that is something that has been common across the
Yes,
industry.
yes.
So, I mean, you touched upon a very interesting topic that you're venturing into cloud kitchens as well. So,
Yes.
can you tell us more about those brands and what kind of offerings do you have?
So, to be very honest, we have a production facility which is close to 10,000 square feet, and which was never utilized that much before the pandemic. I'll be very honest. So now, with this cloud kitchen coming up, so everything will be working like a hub and spoke model, wherein the current outlets will have a bigger kitchen coming up, and we'll have brands like Indian Curry, brands like Shanghai Wok, brands like Pizzeria, Momos, Wow Biryani, and we have a lot of other brands which are related to our products, which we were already serving, and through which we can encash a bigger market pie.
So, this is under the works. These brands are not launched yet.
These brands will be launched with our new upcoming outlet, which is due to open in another 7 days, probably before Diwali or just near Diwali.
Okay, okay, very interesting. Um, Very interesting. So, I mean, do you see a bigger opportunity in cloud kitchens? Because I think most of the brands are venturing into this space. And I mean, cloud kitchen is also known to be more profitable because, you need a lesser space to operate and you can reach out to a wider audience. So, what is your view on that? Like, is it the future of the industry, or are cloud kitchens going to exist along with restaurants?
I won't agree to it on 100% basis. As in, if we talk about India, the biggest cloud kitchen chain is Rebel Foods, which are brands like Berus, which are brands like Fasos, Oven Story. They also are coming up with their outlet chain, which is by name of Eat Sure, wherein they are planning food courts. So, in case the cloud kitchen is a 100% win-win situation, why would they open a food court model also? The only reason is that we Indian also believe in face outlets. So out of our dark kitchen models, there's one more model which is called Burger Shack, one more brand which is Burger Shack. So during the pandemic, we opened one store of that brand also, and which is doing wonderfully good, Burger Shack. So it is basically based on burgers only. So, very honestly speaking, yes, cloud kitchen saves a lot of money, but in order to have a brand presence, because people won't understand and know your brand until and unless they'll see it. So
That's true.
once you can have, at least if I talk about Jaipur, we can have our face outlets, close to 4 to 5 face outlets, and then we can have 6 to 7 dark kitchens, so that people can order because of that face outlet, and they can get the facility to order it anywhere of this, any side of the city.
Right. Right, because these face outlets help you build credibility and then the others can run on the back of that.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you believe more in sort of a hybrid model than just cloud kitchen or just
Exactly.
restaurant.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense.
And the
Um,
problem is this, ki in case we totally base ourselves on cloud kitchen, then the business totally goes in the hands of Zomato, Swiggy, or any other aggregator. We are totally dependent on them.
right.
So in case we have a face outlet, people obviously would order it through that outlet also.
Right. Vishal, also you touched upon something around aggregators. So what I wanted to also understand is that are you planning to have your own online sort of a store or a service through which people can order from you directly? Are you also looking in that direction?
No, no, not at all, because it requires a lot of tech in the behind first. Secondly, with the kind of investments these people are doing, there have been a lot of companies doing so. Uber Eats in past. Now we are also listening that Ola Eats is also coming, something like this. In fact, Amazon also tried. But they all have been unsuccessful because Swiggy and Zomato have a deep market share, and we cannot have a tech support as strong as them they have.
Right,
So it is better to be part with them only.
right. Okay. Also I wanted to, know about the catering side of your business because you were telling me that you have also ventured into that with innovative things like a fly buffet. So can you tell
Yes,
us
yes.
more about that?
So catering, apart from our retail brown sugar, second vertical which I already told you is cloud kitchen, and third vertical is our catering section. So catering is something which obviously we worked a lot during the pandemic holidays, and which helped us, which is now helping us out big time. So we've been doing a lot of flying buffet caterings these days, wherein a guest, because we do catering at a lot of places which are very small in size, probably a 2 BHK flat, which is housing close to 20 people. Their kitchen is so small that we cannot do a buffet production over there. We cannot lay out our buffet over there. Generally, flats are 1100, 1200 square feet kinds. So in those kind of places, we obviously make all the food products from our factory. The major production happens at our production area only. We just do the touch up at their kitchen, and we serve everything to the guest as a pass around. We just did a catering yesterday, wherein we did things like, which I recently told you, pav bhaji fondue, dal makhni with blue cheese naan, biryani in kullad and raita on the top. So these things were part of that flying buffet only yesterday. And the client was quite amazed because she never imagined that something like this could also be done. So this is something which is new in the industry. A lot of people not even doing it in metros. So we just had this thought and it became very successful. It's a hit in Jaipur.
Right. So you started this around the pandemic time last year.
Because during pandemic, a lot of people wanted to do party,
At
which
home.
obviously they can't go anywhere because restaurants were shut. Only food services were allowed to do at the place and all. So we started like this only. We have a food truck also, which is in the pipeline, which will be up in another 1 month, wherein we'll bring it to the client's place only, and we'll do every production there.
Correct. So, Vishal, any expansion plans for rest of the country apart from Rajasthan?
Yes, yes, we are very well on our expansion plan as well. Because honestly speaking, first we want to encash the whole of Rajasthan. As in cities like Jaipur, we already have our presence. We want to increase presence there, Udaipur, Kota. Then we'll be moving to parts of Gujarat and MP.
Okay, interesting. Because I can't wait to try the fly buffet and all the interesting items that you just spoke about. So that'll be great. Apart from cloud kitchens, the catering that you spoke about, what other trends are you seeing in the restaurant industry? What other new things are happening around us, which other restaurateurs should also take a note of?
Very honestly speaking, a restaurateur should understand the feel of the market. They should be very much on to the cultural adaptation of that city where they have a presence. Because we also faced a lot of issues when we were focusing more on the food part. But we tried, and you need to cut down on the unreasonable expenses, and because as a restaurant owner, previously people used to expect a lot of service to be done on their table. Things were doing in that fashion only. So now people are saying कि नहीं नहीं आप service table पे इतना मत करो, we'll call you whenever it would be required. So they need to cut down on the expenses on their manpower part, firstly, and they should have a central production so that they can expand rapidly. It would be very difficult to sustain for a standalone restaurant because the expenses would go very high. So this is something which they need to cut down because the margins are decreasing day by day. And then they should obviously look out for their expenses and all.
Right. And what consumer trends are you looking at? Because I think after the pandemic, a lot of people are into healthier food options, gluten-free diets, dairy-free options. So, I mean, has that trend caught up in Rajasthan as well? How are you seeing that right now?
Very honestly speaking, it is kind of a fad only where people say that if you want to have healthy food only, we don't want to have dairy products. Very honestly speaking, I've seen people, including me, trying it for a day and then falling for it for the other day. Very honestly, people are going for food. Yes, the only change which I see pan India, or rather we should say globally, is that people want to buy products only from brands. They don't want to go to any place which is like a roadside hawker because the hygiene is highly compromised. So this is the golden time for the people who actually want to venture into restaurants and want to expand it because people are looking for brands and not for the roadside hawkers. So this is one cultural shift which has happened. Secondly, talking about food which is healthy, it is just something morning may you decide that I'll not eat anything which is not healthy, and in the night you end up having whatever you can have. And secondly, talking about dairy free, yes, this culture is growing up very fast, but yes, it is not happening in Rajasthan much. Well, I do have relatives who put up in Bombay and Delhi, so who are 100% vegan. They don't won't go for anything which is dairy. But yes, they also say I truly don't know for how long I can just sustain with it. So you understand, it cannot happen. We used to drink milk every day already. We used to have curd.
Every
Now,
day.
yes, so it is very difficult for us. We being Indians cannot keep ourselves away from milk, curd, paneer especially, because
Yeah,
it have to be part of our one meal at least in a day.
definitely.
Whether it is a paneer ka paratha in the breakfast, whether it is paneer bhurji or something in the night or a paneer vegetable. Malab, you cannot keep yourself away. And cheese is something which is catching up very fast. You need cheese in almost everything, your sandwich, your Maggi, your paratha with cheese, your pasta with cheese, pizza with cheese. So zero pizza obviously was a trend. We've been doing it. We did a catering probably 15 days back, which was a dairy-free catering. It was a zero catering. But I totally know this, out of 100 people whom we catered, 70 were not happy with the food because it was a zero catering.
Right. Um, so, I also wanted to know from you, Vishal, what are your future plans for brown sugar, and what is your vision for the brand going forward now?
So, as I told you, Ria, in the last question, that we obviously want to expand into all three verticals. First, need to have a presence of a brand brown sugar in those states which I already told you. Along with that, we can have a presence through Cloud Kitchen also in the same outlets, which can obviously increase our sales. And third vertical is our catering, which we want to focus only in Rajasthan, not in other states. Because we obviously are catering in Jaipur, Udaipur, Bhilwara, Kota. We did a catering in Ahmedabad also, but we have a plate full in Rajasthan, so no plans for expansion for catering in other states. But yes, retail obviously would be increased in other states as well.
Great. And it was wonderful talking to you. My last question is just, a lot of people want to enter the food industry. They are passionate about food, but they are looking for some sort of inspiration. So, what would be your message to those kind of aspiring entrepreneurs who want to enter this industry?
Priya, very honestly speaking, a lot of people are entering into the food ventures. A lot of my friends have ventured into food, but the success rate is very low because they don't know anything about the business. But the message is that they need to do at least a good working, because a lot of new venture people who are venturing into it just believe that they can hire a person from the industry, they can open something, and then they can run it very easily, and they assume it as to be a sidekick business, which is the biggest mistake they all make. It is a full-time work. You have to dedicate yourself day to night, then only it can sustain.
Right. So your message would be to do your research thoroughly and enter the business as if it's your main business, not a side business that you
Yes.
just right. Anything you wish to add, Vishal? Any other thing that you want to talk about, or any other new thing that you're doing that you want to highlight for our
One
viewers?
thing I would like to say, a very important thing is this: you need to have fantastic software. You need to have fantastic billing software to run the business in case you want to grow in numbers. So that is one thing which is very important to the young entrepreneurs, as you asked me, because there's a lot of revenue leakage which can happen, and softwares like Posist and other in the market are the best which can obviously help you out to do that. One more thing I would like to say to people who want to start business or who are doing it, and see, make yourself not too much into everything, because I've seen restaurants and some standalone businesses where the owner takes all the decisions. You need to have a good team inside your system only, because we have close to 250 people working with us. So you need to have a very good and a strong backend team which can support you anytime whenever it is needed. So this is my experience, and very honestly speaking to you and your team, I'll be very honest. The tough time which we faced during the pandemic, both the times, was a very easy journey because I have a wonderful team which is always dedicated, which is always ready to take up any challenges which comes. So it is something which is very important. We need to consider them as our partners only. We should never consider them as our employees who are working for us. They can get anything from them. This is something which I really want to tell to all the entrepreneurs and who are existing also. They should change their mindset towards the people working with them.
Great. It was wonderful talking to you and learning about brown sugar. And all the best to you for your upcoming venture, which is the cloud kitchens. And we wish you all the success for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Pleasure was all mine.
Thank you.
Bye
Have a
bye.
great day.